Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
We're here to talk to you about suppositories.
And that's just politics.
Jack, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing okay. How about yourself?
Oh, fuck. Monkey had a rough night. Monkey, okay, I have to explain things. I'm very in tune with what's going on with me most of the time. And I started to feel it, Jack. Just that it's coming feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here waiting for the game stream. The game stream pops up. I start playing. And my character won't move. Or he'll move a little bit, but he won't do the actions I need him to. I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on there? And I just start getting irritated. And that is a clear sign that, shit's about to go real bad with me. And not that I'm going to lash out at people or anything, because I don't do that. I'm like, oh, shit, this is coming. I'm going to remove myself from society for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's a clear sign that, yeah, my neck is like, oh, monkey, remember me? Like, fuck. But I wanted to play the game. I wanted to hang out with my buddy Satsu. So I tried fixing my internet. I reset my computer. I sat here for like 15 minutes trying to get it. And my internet, to call it garbage would be an insult to garbage.
Wow.
I went over to even at least try to watch the stream to still support the guys. And it wouldn't go higher than 144. And it was still loading constantly. So I texted Sats. I'm like, it's not happening tonight, dude. Thank you, Corey. Says, thanks for making my night shift a bit easier, Monk. I hope that continues through the show. It's a little early to thank us for that, but
yeah, we make no promises.
We'll do our best. But so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. This ain't working. I'm just gonna do what I do when this stuff happens. I went and put my fat ass in bed. I sent myself to bed, Jack.
That's okay. You're allowed to do that.
So I go in there and I lay down, and apparently I needed it because I was not even in there half an hour before I fell asleep.
Nice.
I wasn't in there 2 hours before my wife accidentally woke me up. Because she comes to bed and she is the cutest trying to be quiet person ever. And she sucks at trying to be quiet. Thank you, Ex-Bubba Hotep Monks. Internet is so trash, Antifa wants to set it on fire. Yes. And I think electronic communication works better through fire than my actual internet, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Good morning, Stargazer.
And morning, Nuts. How you doing, sweetheart?
Speaking of Antifa, did you see they were doing some sort of plan of action today in Portland?
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. Dan says, can you get fiber internet? No, I can't. But anyway, Lady Monkey woke me up. I was able to get back to sleep again, and then I woke up at 2. I'm still feeling, it's an anxious feeling, Jack. But I'm working through it, and I'm feeling better than I was because I have some sleep in me. Yeah. So I'll last a few hours before I get pissy and get like, fuck it, I'm going to bed. I saw, I didn't get to see any of the footage from the plan of action. I saw Andy. Andy, no, guys, I do follow Andy for, he's not a real journalist. You see all that going around today or yesterday?
Yeah, whatever. Half the people on the internet aren't real journalists, but I at least trust Andy to be relatively honest.
What I really love about that shit is the same people who will quote CNN are pissy at Andy because he's gotten like 2 or 3 things wrong in his career.
Yeah, exactly. And CNN manufactures news and has been caught doing it.
Yeah.
Interviewing cameramen, shit like that. So
flat out fake news.
Yeah.
But Andy News isn't a real journalist. He's more of a journalist than anybody at CNN, and that's fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we go further, apparently it's Green Death's birthday. Green Death. This one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday, dear Green
dear Green
Dad.
Dad.
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to you.
Happy birthday, Green Dad. This is what happens with my voice when I don't exercise it before I go on stream. But I hope you have it's one of his buddies' birthdays. Well, damn it. Skyler's birthday.
Oh.
Well, Skyler, just place your name where his was. Gamer Fleeing, thank you. I don't know if AT&T is available near you. Some of the boonies in Florida have it, and they have unlimited data on DSL. It wasn't a data problem. This one, you're thinking my satellite that's a data issue. That's not what this is. AT&T. It's just shitty internet that doesn't always work really good. And Mighty Balzac, thank you. NGO news is good news. That's no news. No news is good news. Gary Gnu.
Thank you, Craven Moorhead. Stole donation jar for a cancer patient. He's not going to need it anyway. Well, thank you for the donation.
Wow.
And then
Skyler, this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Skyler. Happy birthday to you. Skyler and Green Death, I hope you guys both have great birthdays. You, Skyler, today, and Green Death, whenever the hell yours is. You think I'd be embarrassed by that, but I'm really not.
Nah.
Shit happens, man.
We've done way more embarrassing shit than that on here.
No doubt. Do we know what the call to action was today in Portland?
I think it was something to do with Indigenous people, because I saw somebody dressed like an Indian in a wheelchair in one of their drawings.
Oh, okay. All right.
But,
no actual Indigenous people showed up.
Probably not. I didn't see anybody scalping anyone, so... Yeah. Oh, is that inappropriate now? I don't even know. No, because Antifa would do that. Unless you were talking about the Indigenous people doing it, then yeah, probably. Oh, no, I was talking about Antifa going undercover as Indigenous people.
Oh, yeah, they'd absolutely do that and try to pin their violence on other people. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ask BLM.
Right?
And again, guys, when we say that, that is not to excuse BLM for their shit tartary either.
Oh, no. They're all equally stupid and complicit.
But when it comes to actual violence, the vast majority of that is Antifa, and the vast majority of it is passed off as BLM for some reason. Well, it's because Antifa is just an idea, Jack.
Indeed. Apparently an idea embraced by BLM. So maybe it is BLM.
I mean, there's some in the BLM universe who are not understanding that or think they're like the politicians who think they can control it. You know, we'll embrace that because it'll be useful for us, not realizing that they're the ones being used.
Yeah, isn't it also kind of removing the agency of black people to say that this is clearly BLM's fault? Because if Antifa's not an organization, then it means it's Black Lives Matter's fault.
Indeed.
And they're embracing this idea.
Faithless says the looting is BLM. That you're right about.
Yeah.
There's no question there.
Speaking of looting, I was just watching Los Angeles having a riot too.
Why is LA rioting now? What did I miss?
Something to do with the Lakers. They must have won some sports ball tournament.
Oh, did they win the playoffs? I don't follow basketball, and I know they were forced into a game 6 the other day. Lakers over the Heat, 106-93. There you go.
I don't know, but they were looting some stores a little bit ago, and apparently Baked Alaska's down there.
I've never understood why, when your sports team wins, you go out and destroy your city. Because this has been a thing in the U.S. for decades.
Yeah.
Not all, hashtag not all cities. Certain cities. Yeah, they'll just absolutely destroy it. Like, our team won. Let's burn down everything. Like, I've never been that happy. I've never been let's burn everything down happy.
No, I've never decided to celebrate with the destruction of my neighborhood. But, you know, you do you. And Johnny Blaze said, "Fuck you, Jack. Lakers won the championship." I don't know anything about basketball, and I don't really care. I don't follow sports. Go local athletic collective.
Did they wear their Ruth Bader Ginsburg jerseys?
No, but one guy got in a fight that I was watching. He took his jersey off and started fighting with a dude. And later on, somebody found the jersey and picked it up. And on the front, it has 18. And on the back, it had 19.
Oh.
Somebody bought the discount misprint.
Huh. If you celebrate by playing the sport in the street to find the best players. Are you talking about soccer riots? And riots equal passion. I get being passionate about your team winning. I do. I'm a sports fan.
Yeah, but then breaking out the windows of a store and stealing everything inside is seems a little bit odd.
Yeah,
for team winning, unless the game they were playing was like who can loot the most, like one of those shopping spree kind of things.
It's a weird tradition. I mean, I remember, what was it, Tigers when they won, like back in the 80s, and I remember seeing news footage of a car flipped over in the street.
Yeah,
like, who flips over a car because you won? Anyway. Citywide shopping spree, all you can grab, I guess, but even then, I mean, why would you? There's always lots of fires in these things.
Yeah,
I don't understand why, but you know, like you said, you do you, right? Are we surprised that there's riots and stuff?
No, I mean,
yeah.
If Portland could do it over whatever they're doing it over for 3 or 4 months now, these guys probably just felt emboldened.
Yeah, they're on 4 months of that shit in Portland.
Yeah,
although it's
ridiculous,
still so hard to find the footage now.
They've chased off most of the streamers, and the ones that are still there, the approved ones, and they don't film when they have an action planned.
It's weird. It's almost like they don't want to be filmed.
Yeah. It's pretty funny that happens. Well, I mean, some footage still leaks out, thankfully, but
yeah, but it's scary because they've started doing this as they're going into the neighborhoods.
Yeah,
that's where it's going to be really, really dangerous. I mean,
what surprises me more is how much the Ted Wheeler and this other lady seem to have support, because the lady running against him is an Antifa supporter.
Real quick, thank you, Mighty Balzac. They're not looters, they're undocumented shoppers. Fair enough. And Anal In said, red pilling the masses is still going. I know he is, but like, what was it, 2 nights ago, Jack? I asked you if you knew what was going on because there'd been reports of action, or there was the report of the vehicles at that one intersection.
Yeah.
And if you went over to Red Pill's channel, he had footage from St. Louis playing. There was nothing out of Portland. I know he's still there, but he's a restreamer, so he's only restreaming what he can find, and there was nothing.
Yeah. I was checking all the usual suspects, and nobody was streaming it out of Portland.
Yep.
None of the usual suspects. Nobody knew. They're chasing people out of there, and they've got a much better control. Antifa does have a lot of influence over there, and if you think it's not organized, you're sadly mistaken. You are desperately underestimating these people.
Which is a mistake.
It's a dangerous mistake. These people are very, very dangerous, and they're getting better organized, and that should scare everyone because these actions they're doing are getting more violent. They attack police stations now without notice, and they're organizing behind the scenes more. What was it today? They went after the Historical Society or something at one of these places. It's getting ridiculous, and they're getting better at it.
It's a good time to remind you we're brought to you by you. You don't have to loot us. We won't loot you back.
Nah, we're too lazy for that.
But if you want to hit that like button, we'll appreciate it. And if you'd like to toss a coin or two at my friend Jack there, we'd really appreciate it. So the Streamlabs links are going around. Hit those and toss what you can. Only what you can. Do not feel bad if you can't. It's We understand. We're not throwing money at you either.
Yeah, we're poor.
But it does help us buy ramen and Velveeta.
In downtown Portland, they took down the Teddy Roosevelt statue and the Abraham Lincoln statue.
I saw the Lincoln one.
Yeah, they're calling this the Day of Indigenous Rage.
Oh yeah, that sounds intelligent.
Yeah,
because what could be less stereotypical than angry Indian,
right? Here, I got a picture. I got that picture I was telling you about. You have to see this.
Sir Adamantine says, Velveeta. Right? I love Velveeta.
Ugh, fake cheese.
Stop it.
Check this out. This is the Day of Indigenous Rage poster thing.
Oh my God.
Doesn't this look like the most racist thing you've ever seen?
That does.
Dressed like an Indian in a wheelchair. She's got, like, instead of face paint, war paint, she's got a big hand over her mouth.
Like she's been slapped.
Yeah, this looks like a Klan drawing.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I retweeted it a second ago. So if you guys check out my Twitter feed, it's on there. Indigenous Peoples Day of Rage. They started at 7:30 p.m. sharp.
Oh, what happens if you were late?
I guess that you better have a ticket.
Wow. All right. That picture just reminded me, because I've been playing the new Baldurs Gate game, and Nuts brought to my attention an article from Kotaku about it. This person complaining that everybody's just making boring looking characters, and they're not doing enough to use the character design there is. But they go on. It's not just that gamers who they don't have to play with and probably aren't playing with are making characters that the writer didn't approve of. I want to explain that one more time. People in their own goddamn games are making characters that she, and it was a she, did not find interesting enough.
Well, I mean, you have to abide by the whims of the totalitarians, or you're just an awful person, and you don't deserve to have your copy of the game because your basic ass character that they never have to encounter isn't good enough for them. All the characters should be of obvious indigenous or minority representation, and that you should have them as gay as possible.
Nut says that was the company bitching. There was a picture from the company, but the article itself wasn't written by them. And if it was written by somebody who should have been taking the rest of their complaints to their office, because it complains that the people who made the video game didn't offer enough options. If you read later down in the article, one of the things they want, Jack, is you to be able to play as a character in a wheelchair. That should be something you should be able to do.
What? Yeah.
As you're going through ancient ruins, you should be able to traverse that bitch in a nice wheelchair.
This ruins is not ADA compliant.
Yeah.
And you have to put a ramp in.
I was just like, what? They actually said they should be able to find a way to make it possible to have characters like that. I'm like,
that's fucking stupid.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna roam the wastelands in Fallout 5 in a wheelchair, and then I'm gonna jump over to Tomb Raider and go raid some tombs.
Here was their argument. If everybody's just gonna make people who look like them, then they should be allowed to have other choices to make it look like them. So it should be able to have somebody in a wheelchair. I'm like, all right. And then I started taking that further, Jack. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Should a battered wife be able to have a character with a black eye?
Yes.
And an abused kid should, flinch every time somebody raises a hand around him?
Well, as a a white male, would you be able to walk around and get free stuff handed to you because of your white privilege?
I don't know.
Can you abuse your spouse if you are a convicted spousal abuser?
You would think.
I mean, how far does this go? Because that logical extension goes out to these too.
If Brian Stelter played this game, should he be able to have a character in game who looks like he drives a candy van?
Obviously, because it's not like there's any fantasy to this. It must be literal reality. And by not having these options, they are clearly robbing people, a minority of people that do these actions, of their lived experience.
Now, P-Dog, I'm not sure what you're referring to there, but I'm just going to answer you by saying you can play as a black man already. Can you play as somebody who abandoned their family? Somebody who abuses their wife? Somebody, it's only, I want to meet the wheelchair bound person who's like, you know what I really want to be in a video game is wheelchair bound. I just want to slap the shit out of him. That's all. That's the only reason I want to meet him. But I mean, seriously,
this is going ridiculous. It's never enough. It's never going to make them happy. Just make your game the way you want to, because at some point they're going to want like an indigenous elf that's in a wheelchair with one eye and a pirate hook, and it'll complain when it doesn't have all the dexterity that a fully able-bodied elf would have. It's fucking stupid.
It is.
No matter what you do, there's one thing you forgot.
Wheelchair-bound wife beater, Baldurs Gate. Yeah, why not? Why not? I still think she should be the battered wife instead, because that's a lot easier to convey with the big. Oh, I got it, Jack. She has a big black eye, right? And her special power is fucking up dinner.
I think that's where P-Dog got confused. He heard black guy, not black eye.
Oh, gotcha. Black eye.
To get a voice actor for Superman, he has to be a real Kryptonian. Why is there no paralyzed Spider-Man walking on walls with his wheelchair? There's so many problems here that you're not representing people enough.
I get the notion that at the beginning of the article, I was kind of with him, because I like playing characters who basically look like me, whether it's actually looking like me, which I've done in games before, where they looked almost like, hey, that's a Frank in game, or whether it's just playing a man, because I will play any color man. I don't play Asians, and I feel racist about that. I should start doing it. It's not on purpose. It's just that if I'm not playing some weird white guy, I want to be cooler and be black. And one of my Baldur's Gate characters is a black guy. He's smooth, man. He can dance better than the white characters. She didn't fuck up dinner. He's just a total dick. That's not true. Her power is fucking up. She burned the spaghetti. That's her special power. And it makes you hungry and angry. Anyhow, I just think it's fucking stupid, man, that that's where they went with it instead of, it's weird that people only play things that look like them too. We should make it so everybody could always look like themselves, even if they have no legs and need to be crawling around a crypt.
I've played a lot of games over the years, and I've never seen an option for gay hair.
I know, right? It's hard to do. Most of the characters I play, especially if I'm playing an RPG, they're just bald with a Van Dyke. I like the look. All of my characters that I've been playing in Baldur's Gate look exactly like that. The only difference is the color of their skin. I don't even change the color of the beard. It's always white. Because I'm old now, Jack.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Anyway, yeah, it was just such a stupid fucking argument. And that picture made me think of it, because got to have that representation, yo. Got to have that wheelchair representation. representation. So your characters are cavemen. No, cavemen couldn't shave their beard that nicely. It is weird in that game, Jack. They have, I think it's 6 or 7, maybe 8 different facial hairstyles, including, no facial hair. They don't have just a mustache.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Uh-huh. It kind of is.
I want a big 70s porno stash.
Nope. Just you have to have a beard if you're going to have a mustache.
That's discriminatory.
It is.
Real quick. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for the donation. I mean, come on. Everyone has heard of Indiana Jones's crossover, Kentucky Jamal, with his half of a leg missing hand from that dynamite accident. His sidekick, Murderball Jose, are the greatest treasure hunters with 1.5 legs.
That says that's not the story I read. I read the lady was pissed because everyone was playing just as basic ass characters. Read on in that. The one that you linked is the one that I read, and she goes on to talk about that. Leo says, I really want a video game, but I'm spending all my money on Warhammer. Well, sir, there are Warhammer video games. Bunch of them. You're behind. Throwing that out there.
And they're totally ableist.
Yes, they all are. Because none of the Space Marines are in wheelchairs. Anyway.
Well, that actually brings up an interesting thought. Why can't the women have mustaches?
They can. They can have beards.
Oh.
So nobody can have just a mustache, but any beard you can put on a man, you can put on a woman.
Well, that's very trans-friendly of them.
Which is weird because, you can do that, but you still can separate between male and female.
Monsters.
I know, right?
Like a dichotomy like that? Oh, I am both shocked and or appalled.
When you make your character, you also have to pick the person you dream about, is what they call it. And it can be anything. You can any of the races that are in there, any of the looks that you could have built for yourself. And now in my single player that's just for me, the lady looks very much like Lady Monkey. I made her look as much like her as I can because that's my true heart. Well, quit reading something more thoroughly than I do when I sent you something. It's part of my job, sweetheart, is what I do. But in all the other games, I make a dwarf. Somebody's like, you're going to make a halfling. I'm like, no. You know why I don't make a halfling, Jack?
Because halflings are lame.
Because halflings don't have a fat ass. You know who does? Dwarf women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got to have that fat ass. In the one that I'm playing with Stunlock, it's a beautiful little chocolate dwarf. I call her my chocolate nugget. In the other one, it's a beautiful little milky white dwarf. I haven't given her a name yet. I don't know what it's for. They so far in the game, I haven't come across where you come across this person. I'm wondering if this is how they determine your sexuality within the game. Like if who I dream about is a man who looks just like me, and then I'd be gay in the game.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what it's for yet, but I enjoy that aspect. But yeah, you can make the woman of your dreams have a big, burly Duck Dynasty beard if you wanted to.
That's intense. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, is somebody unaware of me being into midgets? Yeah. I likes my midgets, man. Clearly he's got left cheek and right cheek in the game. No, because I only have 3 active games going in. I have the little white midget, the little black midget, and then the lady monkey. So I would need another little white midget. Anyway, we're all over the place to begin the show, Jack.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's fun though. Where are we at? Jack, talk to a lot of stupid people on Twitter. I don't mean to. I mean, I do reply to them, so it's kind of my fault. But they're there. I didn't put them there. And then they come to my attention and like, well, that's just really fucking stupid. That's just really fucking stupid. And today it was all about packing the court for some reason. Well, yesterday. It was all about packing the court. I assume that's because the hearings for Amy Coney Barrett are about to start. They released her opening statement to the Senate Judiciary Committee for everybody to read if they want to.
Oh, already?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I guess that starts today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're going to have her in there, and the Democrats are all up in arms about it. Oh, my God, they're trying to force through this woman. They're ignoring the democratic process. That's my favorite argument.
Yeah, fucking idiots. Real quick, thank you to Harry Channel. I suspect Monkey likes the dwarves because he thinks they look a bit downsy.
No, they don't look downsy at all. I think downsies are cute. I don't want to have sex with them.
Well, have you seen a midget downsy?
Do they have those?
I'm sure they do. They're like the unicorns of downsies.
I don't think they make them that way, do they?
I don't know. I haven't been to the factory in a while.
How much did your parents sin to make you a midget downsy?
I don't know, but I imagine it was a lot.
God damn. What kind of drugs were they into? Oh, all right. Now you're putting weird things in my head, Jack.
Oh, that was Harry, not me. But A+ on that one.
You're the one who brought up midget downsy.
Well, he said dwarves.
Because they look like it, which I don't think they do. They're actually kind of cute in the game. Depending on which face you choose, of course.
Can you pick a downsy face?
Saint Fugi says mostly downer drugs. Wow.
True. Do they have downsy face in there? Can you get like the big forehead and the giant lumpy villain? Ableist.
Not that I've seen. What about underarm midget curling? What? What is that?
That's how giants put deodorant on.
I did see a picture of the world's tallest man. We'll get back to the main subject in a minute. World's tallest man next to the world's shortest woman. And somebody asked how far he could kick her. And somebody else did the math on it. And it came up to something like 115 feet or 115 kilometers, whatever, or meters, whatever it is that they used. So like, all right. And they did it based on the average weight of a woman and a soccer ball. And yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting.
Do you think they ever had sex?
I doubt it. Have you seen her?
No. Imagine she's really small, though.
She is tiny. Let me see. Because I didn't retweet that one, I don't think. But I did laugh at it. Didn't I laugh at it? I thought I did. Maybe not. But it's out there somewhere. And I'm too lazy to go digging for it right now. Maybe I'll find it later. Thank you, Frosted. Happy, Grumpy, and Downsy. I'd watch that remake. Me too. Although I'd really like to see the original when they were talking about making Horny the Dwarf.
Yeah.
Seriously. Dopey was supposed to be horny.
Yeah. Well, Happy, Grumpy, and Downsy sound like the special team for the dwarves. Like, the others are in trouble. Quick, get the Downsy team.
Thank you over on the Streamlabs Harry channel, who says, for fun, compare Amy Coney Barrett's education section on Wikipedia with Kamala's. Barrett is an exceptional legal mind. Harris is a pretty damn mediocre. Barrett graduated summa cum laude, top of her class. Oh, wow. I did not know that about her.
I heard Joe Biden did too.
Well, with 3 degrees, so he's even better.
Yeah, and it's from a trusted source called Joe Biden, who's never lied.
Never. He is a paragon of truth.
That's what CNN would have you believe.
Oh, man.
Boney the meth addict. I did. Sorry, Jack Gunsky.
What's up?
I forgot Boney the meth addict.
The dwarfs these days could be a lot more fun. Because, like, instead of grumpy, you could have bipolar.
Oh yeah, mood swing.
He could be both happy and grumpy. And why they all got to be boys? Maybe when they get kissed by Snow White, one of them's a chick and she gets a tingle in her no-no spot.
Yeah. And how many of them were actually non-binary? I feel like I could write a Medium article on how Grumpy was actually a non-binary and he was angry because he was being oppressed.
Oh, you know what? It's because of the societal expectations.
The oppressive societal norms of the Eurocentric colonialization mindset. Frosted, hi ho, off to eat the paste we go.
Demon Hobbit says, only third degree I got was as a Mason and 2 worthless college ones. Well, if you have 2 worthless college degrees, you have 1 more than Joe Biden has and 1 less than he claimed he did.
Right?
That fucking guy. Jack, I talked last night. Jack wasn't with us last night, and they asked where you were, Jack, and I said, I hope you're fucking sleeping, and I hope you slept last night.
I did get some sleep last night, yes. Sorry, I missed
that. No, dude. You're not paid to be here? Well, not by me. They do it. So if you want him to show up, throw money at him, people. Is that a good show?
Yes, that was a good show.
If you want him to be here, show him love, man. And the best love, ask any stripper, money. I talked a lot about Biden and how the press has been covering for his ass.
Yeah.
And if I knew, I didn't have to go look any of this up. And I hope you guys did, because I told them over and over things that they should go look up. But as I'm listing them off, I'm like, how in the ever-loving fuck does this guy still have a career? The more you go on and on. Like, how does he have a Oh, that's right. Our press sucks.
Yeah.
But Andy knows the one you got to worry about. Biden got the Lori Loft degree. He didn't even get that. He just fucking straight out lied. And Jack, we were talking about that last night. Because we brought that up many times on the show that he lied about his 3 degrees, but we've rarely, if ever, talked about why he lied about that. Do you know why he lied about that, Jack? Have you seen the full clip?
I have, but I don't remember it.
Somebody made a suggestion that they might have like asked about his IQ or questioned his IQ in some way. And it was him being indignant at them, telling them that I'm sure I have a higher IQ than you. It was him being an arrogant prick because somebody asked him a question.
Yeah, he doesn't like to be challenged on anything.
No, it was the 30-year ago equivalent of him challenging him to a fucking push-up contest. This man has a habit of berating people who ask him questions. And
yeah, he's one of our betters, Monkey.
Our wino says, how many of those are honorary? None. If you're talking about the ones that he said he got, no, he just flat out lied. He said he graduated with 3 degrees and he had to come out and say, what was it? His memory failed him. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, it was like in his 30s or 40s when he made that comment. That his memory failed. He forgot he didn't have 3 degrees. Good God. It's almost like he's global warming.
Right.
Call back. Anyway. So I talked to a lot of idiots, and today they were all on about packing the court. Packing the court. The horrible things the Republicans have been up to. And all of them have the same response, Jack. All of them have the same response when you point out that the Republicans have done nothing wrong. Now, when I say nothing wrong, I mean legally. I do want to say that in 2016, they did lie. They did lie, and they came out and they said that the closeness of the election was why they wouldn't take this up. And it was only a lie in part because what they should have said was and we're hoping a Republican wins so they can pick the next justice.
Yeah.
But they tried making it seem like, oh, the election coming, we really shouldn't do this. The will of the people should matter, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was wrong of them to do. They should have just came out and said, no, no. We'll wait to see who wins the next one and let them decide, because fuck no, we ain't letting this guy pick another one. It's well within our purview to do so.
Yeah, they run the Senate. The Senate gets to schedule that stuff and decide when it's going to happen.
There's a lot of these people that are like, well, they didn't do anything. Well, they did. They told the president no. And you bring it up, that so far, everything they've done has been constitutional. And they always come back with the same thing. Well, if the Democrats take over, you'll have no problem with them packing the court, right? Because that's constitutional. It is constitutional.
Yeah, it's a stupid idea because it sets a very dangerous precedent.
Like, have you guys learned nothing from Harry Reid?
Right? Apparently not.
Go ahead and pack the court. It's a dumb fucking idea. I hope they don't do it, Jack, because one, it's childish.
Yeah.
It's just childish.
Open their face. Absolutely. But they're foolish and they've learned nothing from history. They think they're going to win every election and it will never backfire on them. The Republicans have done the same thing over the years.
Yeah, but not to the same ridiculous extent that we saw here with Harry Reid. For those who don't know what happened with Harry Reid, okay, it used to take 60 votes to end a filibuster, to bring cloture. Cloture, is that the right word? Yeah,
I think so.
To end the debate on the floor. And the way you had kept a filibuster going was you just kept debating until they finally, fuck it, all right, you win. They were having problems, I'm using air quotes, problems getting judges pushed through for Obama with that number because they just couldn't reach it. So Harry Reid decided, well, fuck it, we'll just make it a simple majority to bring cloture to the argument. And at that point, of course, they'd be approved because Democrats ran the Senate at the time. So all they had to do was end the filibuster on that. And they said, but we're only doing this for federal judges and appellate court judges. Just those two levels. We're not going to do that for the Supreme Court. And Mitch McConnell told them, if you do that, we're going to do it to the Supreme Court. When we get back in power, we're going to do it to the Supreme Court. And they were like, when it finally happened, Mitch gets in there and like, yeah, we're instituting the Harry Reid rule. There were the press and the town. Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, yeah, but we told you we were because you guys did that stupid shit. And it becomes a game of who can be the bigger child. Yep. And let me tell you something. Democrats can be children. Republicans are smart-ass children. They beat them at this game every fucking time. Every time. And the Democrats keep trying it. They get out-thought every time. Best case scenario, you go in there and you pack the court. You piss off a lot of independents. Forget the Republicans. They're going to be mad at you anyway. You're going to piss off the independents who are like, no, this is not the right thing to do. And then 4 years later, it goes back to the Republicans. Good job. And then what happens? We play the who can pack the court the highest game. And they'll be like, why are they doing this? This is so bad. Now, I brought this up partially to talk about those idiots. You know whose name keeps coming across my Twitter desk? I don't follow them, but it's always amusing when they do. Dan Rather. Dan fucking Rather. He tweeted this out today. He said, can we at least recognize that court packing at all levels of the judiciary have been the Republican playbook for decades, asking for Merrick Garland. Now, it's actually amazing if you go back and you look at court appointments and stuff, which this post made me do. I'm like, all right, maybe he has a point. He doesn't. He doesn't. He's just wrong. He's flat out wrong. Especially if you're looking at the Supreme Court. You know, the last time you have to go back and find a rejected Supreme Court nominee from the Democrats?
It's been quite a while.
Grover Cleveland was the last time a Democrat was told outright no. Johnson had 2 that he had to that he withdrew. And I didn't look into it, but it looks like it was in the election year because Nixon almost immediately replaces them. But Johnson withdrew them himself. But otherwise, they all of their picks have been confirmed. Up to Garland.
Wow.
If you go look, who was the other idiot that Oh, George Takei. His dumbass. I don't follow him either, but he keeps popping up on my fucking timeline. That guy's a fucking moron. He said this: from 2015 to 2017, Mitch McConnell refused to seat any of Obama's 100 plus federal judges. Then he raced to fill them after Trump was elected. They did the same with Merrick Garland's seat. Don't at me with your court packing. Let's talk about court unpacking. I'm not making the gay joke here. Unpacking.
Frosted did in chat. Don't worry.
Okay, fair enough. Here's the thing. They didn't seat many of Obama's judges, but they did seat some. So refuse to seat any, that's just a lie. You know how I know that? I went and looked it up. There were 22 federal judges approved in that time. Obama could have picked less liberal judges. How many were rejected? There weren't actually that many. Like, I think there were a total in that time of 60 that were nominated and 20 were accepted. 2 of those are to a like a customs court. One of them was to a different court. All of them are federal appointments, and then all the others are just your regular federal judges. So, yeah. But to say that there were none, or that the Republicans packed the court, it's not true. It's not true. And here's the thing: who was it that sent it to me? I think it was Jedi Ghost Bear. I think, but he sent me this article about packing the court. It's from this guy who's a huge Thomas Jefferson fan. He's a actual historian. He writes historical books and stuff. And he wrote this great article about the packing of the courts. And he's talking about, it's all constitutional and there's really nothing wrong with it. But he brings up where this all started, where the court got really political. Jack, I'll tell you this. It happened in our lifetime.
Uh-oh.
Do you know when the court became political, at least according to this guy?
Reagan?
Yes, a specific Reagan nominee.
Oh, Clarence Thomas.
That was Bush, by the way. No.
Oh. Who was the guy before that? Bork?
Robert Bork. Where the Democrats just absolutely fucking destroyed this man. For political reasons.
Harry Channel put Bork in chat.
Yep.
I just heard the Swedish chef.
Bork.
Real fast though, let me grab a Streamlabs. Thank you, Frank, for the donation. Debating somebody about the Supreme Court nominees. I looked at every nominee all the way back to Lincoln. There's a handful that were in an election year. The only time it was bipartisan was in the 1880s.
Yeah, sounds right.
Wow.
And even then, I mean, But here's the thing. It used to be, okay, this is who the president's nominated. Unless we find something really horrible about them, we're going to push them through. And it wasn't until Robert Bork that we suddenly had this mass politicization of this process.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Reagan who did it. It wasn't Bork who did it. Who would it? Who could have been the ones who politicized the process against Robert Bork?
It's a mystery.
It was the fucking Democrats. They started this shit.
Nope. Unsolved mystery.
They started this shit, and now they're mad because they're losing.
Unsolved mystery.
Could it be Satan? Right, Peter? Oh, fucking Dana Carvey. Yeah, it was. It's funny if you follow the court and you look at this stuff, because it's true. I mean, for the most part, it's like, all right, go ahead. The other time that kind of happened was actually with Thomas Jefferson, going all the way back to the end of the Adams administration, when Jefferson has already been elected. Adams packed the court. He didn't pack the court. He just filled the court with people that Jefferson felt he should have been allowed to fill those positions because he was going to be president. And this caused the huge rift between Adams and Jefferson, or at least according to some, and certainly this author as well. But that's the last time that we really saw it, because after that, everybody, okay, that's who the president wanted. We don't find anything, they're not selling child porn or beating women or anything like that. Let them go through. And then it comes to Bork, and that's where that shit started. And then the next time we see it is with Clarence Thomas, who was nominated by George H.W. Bush. And then after that, it's not much of a contentious process again until we get to Myers, that Bush tried putting up. What's her name? Harriet Myers. And everybody's like, the fuck? Even Republicans were like, Mr. President, are you drunk? And so he withdrew her because she had like no qualifications whatsoever to be a Supreme Court justice, which, again, there are no qualifications. You just have to be an American citizen of, I don't even know if there's an age limit on the Supreme Court. I'd have to look. I don't remember. But that was the next time we saw it. And then not again until we get to Merrick Garland, and you have the Republicans like, nah, we're going to fuck around this time. And then not again until you get to Kavanaugh. And if you follow the pattern there, it's mostly the fucking Democrats. And again, they did start it. Don't start games you can't play. I hate people who do that.
Your hate facts.
I know. But they started it. And then want to bitch about how it's handled.
Just because they're bad at it doesn't mean it's okay for you to play the game. It's one-sided.
Look, Bork got borked. He was the first person to get borked. It's why it's a term.
Borking.
And you know what? Yeah, that's kind of what it means for those who don't know. They just destroyed this man for political reasons instead of just letting him go onto the bench because they didn't like that Reagan was putting up a staunch conservative. That's not me. What's the word I'm looking for here? Advocating for the man. I'm just repeating history. You can look this shit up. They had nothing on him. Go look at what they did to Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
The only thing they could find in his record is that one woman who, by the way, followed him from job to job. What was it, like 3 different jobs she followed him to?
Yeah.
To be his secretary. The only thing they could find is her saying that he was sexually inappropriate about porn that he had seen, and that he once asked if there or who put a pubic hair on his Coke can.
Which is a legitimate question. If you put a pubic hair on my Coke can, I will be very upset.
Me too. I'd be like, whose fucking pubic hair's on my coat? One, I'd throw the Coke can out.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't drink that. Gross.
And let's be honest, he was probably making a joke if that really did happen. But even with that, none of that is sexual harassment, but that is the change of sexual harassment in our country, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
that moment changed the world. And it was all just because they thought Thomas was too conservative. The only thing they could do is bring up this crazy bitch who I want to repeat followed him from job to job. She claims that this sexual harassment went on the whole time. Now, I want to remind you that Joe Biden has been accused of sticking a finger in a woman without giving or getting consent first and then pointing at her and saying, "You mean nothing to me." Don't question that at all. And there's a reason I brought Joe Biden up here, because even though I don't believe that, I don't believe Anita Hill either. You know who did? Joe Biden. Joe Biden led the charge on this shit. Now, in fairness, he was kind of mean to Anita Hill. But it was fucking stupid.
Well, she meant nothing to him. And he was like, come on, man. Did that happen?
Joe Biden was instrumental in the Clarence Thomas hearings. And it was the politicization of the court process again. A court that was specifically designed not to be political. There's a lot of people that, oh, we should have an age limit on the court. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. And there's some people who think that they should be serve. I've seen like 12 to 16 years as their term. They should have an unlimited term. Now, whether or not there should be a cognitive test at some point, that's up for debate. But there's a reason they're not elected. And it's to keep them from having politics play a big role in what they're doing. John Roberts, there's a reason that that's done that way. And I approve of it. And once again, it shows the founders are smarter than me, because I never would have thought of it. They weren't perfect men, but they were pretty smart, Jack.
Yep. Well, most of them were very educated people, not in schools per se, but they were smart people that read books.
Yeah, lots of books. They didn't have TV back then.
Yeah. And Jefferson at the time had like one of the largest libraries in the country.
No younger than 35, no older than 55. No older than 55. Good God, man. That's it's not the 50s anymore, right? People live quite a long time.
That's a hate fact.
Well, looking at RBG, that keep them unpolitical worked well. It did, actually. There's a lot of decisions that both the left and the right were pissed off at that were 9-0 decisions. There's a lot of them out there. It's only on your major cases where we knew it was going to be contentious anyway, where it tends to be a big split. Go back and look at the case. What is it? I think it's 2017 where the court decided hate speech isn't a thing in the United States. That was a 9-0 decision. Now imagine if that was a political process. You think that would have been 9-0? Anyhow, the court is important to me, Jack. The court is important to me because they are our last line of defense against stupid laws, and they get it wrong sometimes. They really do, but they get it right most of the time. And if you read the decisions and their thinking and the other cases involved, they get it right most of the time. You might not like the decision, but sometimes it's that the law wasn't written well. Sometimes it's that the government just didn't have that power. Not that they couldn't have that power, that it just doesn't exist for them at the time. And they do. They get it right most of the time. But anyway, the court's important to me. And it should be important to you guys as well. And if the Democrats come in and decide they're going to constitutionally increase the number of justices. I saw one guy, Jack, who said, we deserve at least 2 more justices just for the 2 they stole from us.
What?
Like, nobody stole shit from you, man.
Yeah, that's not how it works. You're not entitled to your particular preference and candidates for the court. That's dumb.
Donald Trump is the president up until January 20th.
Not my president.
The Senate, the current Senate is in, I forget when the Senate takes their oath of office, but it's sometime in January. The current Senate is the Senate until then. It doesn't change no matter who, not even after the election. Those people still hold their jobs at least until the next swearing in ceremony. They get to do their whole job the whole time. You fucking morons. And of course, Jack, my dumbest toy in my toy box, Ufio, had something to say about this.
Of course he did.
And I got to be honest, I don't even understand what it's supposed to mean. Because I answered Dan Rather with his the Republicans are packing the court and pointing out what actually happened. And he came back with this monkey, moron, whatever. 1, the GOP outright rejected Garland. Great lie for you anyway. I never said they didn't. And then 2, the GOP is trying to use the bench to legislate Christian fundamentalism and destroy the New Deal and the Bill of Rights. Then adults have to step in to save the U.S. government.
What?
Yeah, that was my response. Like, huh?
What's he talking about?
What? She may be a Christian fundamentalist. I don't know if she is or not. She seems very Catholic, though. But we have never, not once, not even Ruth Bader Ginsburg, had a member of our Supreme Court who was an atheist. Not one, Jack. We've had quite a few Supreme Court justices, too.
Sounds like discrimination.
Yeah, I'm guessing he just hates Catholics.
It's possible. Real fast, though. Thank you, Involved Potato. I got a new game today, and it was the reason I was late to the stream. It's called MASS Builder. It has a lot of customization as a mech builder and hack and slash shooter. I've been having a lot of fun with it, so check it out. Also, hi, Jack. Hi, Potato.
Hello. Sorry, I have a sneeze stuck. Oh, I hate when they get stuck and then won't actually come out. That's bullshit. I feel cheated when that happens.
Have you ever heard of this mass builder game?
I have not. I'll have to check it out, though.
Sounds cool.
He hates Catholics until Biden and Pelosi say they are one. Well, you know, those are the good Catholics. When you object to the your faith's view on killing babies inside a woman, then it's okay. It's okay. But I'm very curious to this destroying the Bill of Rights. Most Republicans, when they pick somebody, they're not picking somebody for their religion. They're picking somebody who's what is wrongly termed as an originalist. Or a better term for it is a textualist. Textualist, somebody who reads the text and goes by what the text says and doesn't try to interpret what they mean. You know, so they read shall not be infringed and they're like, well, that means we shouldn't infringe it. Instead of, I wonder if this means we could infringe it when it makes us happy.
Well, look, when you have the coder ring that lets you see in between the lines, you can do that. That's how that works, I hear.
Yeah. I've never liked those kind of people. And the people who tell me like the Constitution, it's a living document. you don't know what you mean when you say that, because most of the people who say that, they're like, well, that means you can interpret it however you want, which is not what that means. It's not what it means. What it means is it can be changed, but it takes a lot of work, and it was done that way on purpose.
Yeah, it's supposed to be difficult to do it because they don't want you tampering with the important freedoms.
Peter says legislating from the bench. Yeah, and we've gotten that in a few major cases like Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade never should have happened. If you had textualists up there, people who actually read what's written, and they're bullshit. How in the fuck they get a right to abortion from the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, I think it's the Fifth, and the 14th is beyond me. I cannot read anywhere in there anything that gives that. Not a fucking thing. Now, this is my problem with the living document bullshit. Well, it can change based on who's reading it. No. It's specifically written that way so that you can't say that's not what it means. Women have the right to vote. That's just what it says. We couldn't have alcohol. Then we could. It's just what they say. The right to free speech shall not be abridged. It's in plain language. But I think what they meant is you couldn't build a bridge across it. I hate people, Jack.
No, I do too. I get it.
If you want to talk about securing your First Amendment's rights, your Second Amendment, you want a textualist in there. Somebody who reads the text and just goes by what it says. Because that's how you get those things, protected. Donald Trump has coronavirus. Me doing a middle finger bad word at Donald Trump. Oh, you know he's not here, right? I mean, you can say what you want about him. I don't care. But you do know that's not a him, right? He ain't here. He's got a pretty open Twitter account if you want to just go give him the finger over there. He can't stop you from doing it.
Well, that one representative got suspended yesterday. Did you see that? No,
what he did?
Tweeted out something, a compilation link for Biden sniffing girls or something. they suspended him for it. I was like, oh, yeah, start suspending reps. That's a brilliant idea, idiots.
Are you sure Trump doesn't watch? You know what? I'm not, but we do know he's up a lot around this time. So if people wanted to tweet the link to Donald Trump, I wouldn't object.
No, I like Trump. I think he's one of the funniest people on Twitter.
And while I don't support the man, I at least try to be honest about him, which is better than he gets in most of the press. So yeah, I think he'd appreciate that.
Right? Thank you, Frank, for the donation. What about the no women or PC were involved in writing it, so it needs to be updated view of Constitution?
I don't know if you're being serious about that question, but no.
No, there's people that make that argument, though. I've heard that because it discriminates against people of color because they didn't have a say.
Except it doesn't. Because, there were faults in it. Absolutely. At the beginning, there were faults in it. A lot of people point to the 3/5 argument, and they don't even understand what that meant. Yeah. Because the 3/5 argument wasn't blacks are only worth 3/5. It was slaves were only worth 3/5.
For voting purposes.
For voting. Actually, specifically for counting the size of a district.
Yeah, so they could get more reps and whatnot. So
Indeed.
they could manipulate things with the size of the population.
Yeah, because it's not fair to say, okay, you have 500 people here, so you get a representative for this area when only 3 of them can vote because all the others are slaves.
Exactly.
But counted as not worth, Faithless says. Even with that, not even going to the worth of the person. As Jack was just describing, there was a very good reason for doing this. It was to keep the South from having more power than they deserved, considering most of the people that they were talking about weren't even treated as people. So, I mean, it was there, but it wasn't blacks. It was slaves specifically.
Yeah, there were other types of slaves.
There were other types of blacks. There were free men.
Yeah.
So, and now there were laws put in place that were unfortunately upheld by different courts over the years, keeping people from voting who should have been allowed to. All of that has been taken care of. All of it. And you know what? It was done by white people. You can't sit here and bitch and complain about, what happened in the past without looking at the present and going, you know what? Yeah, that's still white. Yeah, it's still mostly male, but they've made the right decisions to correct these things. Yeah, we did not start out perfect. That's fact.
Well, and they recognized that at the time, but in order to get all the colonies on board, they couldn't touch slavery because it would mean the revolution would fail.
It is amazing how smart they are if you look what was actually written there. It was still set up to make it one day where this stuff was righted. They were too, and I'm going to just say it, and there's going to people are going to be mad at me for it, but they were too pussyfied to just do it at the time. And you know what? Maybe it would have caused the Union to fail. But there were some of these men who recognized it was wrong and should have said so.
Mm-hmm.
Should have pushed for it more. And yeah, maybe it would have caused the collapse, and maybe we wouldn't be here now. And hindsight's 2020 and all that.
Yeah, they had to pick their priorities. That's the ones they went with.
But
I think they all knew that it would be outdated at some point anyway, because slavery would be obsolete.
Mm-hmm. And it was written that way. It really was. Look at the beginning. All men are created equal. And there were people who went, I'm sorry, what? There's still people today make that joke. What was it? George Carlin. We are a nation of slave owners who believe that all men are created equal. Yeah. We started as a contradiction. And we fixed it. And you can't sit there and look and find me the laws right now, that are racist and sexist. And we'll address them. The problem is you guys can't even fucking find them because they don't exist. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the Civil War, guys. I'm not a fan of what happened there. Frankly, the South should have been allowed to leave the Union. They should have. That took us from being a republic to being a giant federal shitbag. You were admitted into the Union with the idea that, you could leave eventually if you wanted to, because that is South Carolina's land. And then the Civil War comes along like, that belongs to us, motherfucker. So I don't like that. I'm happy with everything else that happened because of it. Ending of slavery needed to happen. So good. But that there's nuance in history is what I'm getting at, Jack.
Oh, there's a lot of nuance in history.
Thank you, Desert Resurrect, who says, howdy, Monk, Jack, and Chad Hooligans. Insomnia. Yay. Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm not insomniac tonight. I actually slept. I just woke up at 2:00 in the morning, so I'm raring to go.
Thank you, Frank, on the Streamlabs for the donation. The 3/5 compromise helped end slavery, but yeah, it's definitely racist. Look, a lot of things that have contextual nuance for the time are not seen for their contributions to ending problems. And I think it's mostly historical illiteracy that you see from people that bitch about a lot of the stuff.
Marcus says the South will rise again, so says my underwear. That's the only South that is rising again, is people's drawers. And I'm glad that we're at a point where states aren't actually thinking about leaving, or that there's not a real chance of it, because it does show the strength of the Union. But it is time to actually celebrate all we've accomplished.
That can't happen because the revolution can never end. There always has to be problems.
Yeah, I guess. Anyhow. Monkey's sleep schedule is more random than my jokes. Monkey's sleep schedule. Do I have a sleep schedule? I feel like I don't.
Schedules are like binding confrontations by the man to hold you down.
My schedule is non-binary.
Yeah. I don't apply your colonialist construct to my life.
Guys, don't forget we're brought to you by you. Hit that like button and toss some money over at Jack there, because he's a good man who does good things. He comes here to make you laugh, and I can't pay him, so would you? I'm 3/5 man. The other 2/5 is alien. Burley, be careful with that. Jack will find you. He will report you to the proper authorities. Who do you report aliens to?
I don't know. I assume ICE.
Oh, is that the 2/5 alien he means?
Maybe. If you're an alien, well, I mean, you're going to get deported. So you got to be careful.
That means his mom was squatting across the border and she was 3/5 on one side and 2/5 on the other. Damn it. I had a segue I was going into and I got all distracted. Civil war is a real possibility. No, it's not. It's really not. Violence in the streets is a real possibility. That's different than actual civil war. Civil war, you actually need the states joining in the fight. As we mentioned the other night, attempted revolution is possible. Actual civil war at this point, no. Not unless you're going to have like take what happened there. The southern states going, yeah, we're breaking away, fuck you, and then their armies coming together to fight what was, the rest. That's civil war. What you guys are thinking of is attempted revolution. And, the revolution was good, but I am more of a new power generation kind of guy. And yes, I've made that joke before, but I'm okay with it. You should be too.
Should I?
Dude, some of the smartest people in the world had the craziest sleep schedules. Well, yeah, in mine, I don't have any kind of schedule. I need to try to get on one, Jack, for next Monday. Not today, but a week from today, Jack. They are coming to put in my new heater.
Nice.
I didn't even realize it until Friday. I was talking to Lady Monkey, and I knew the date was October 19th that they were coming. But I'm talking to her, and for me, for some reason in my brain, it's still like 2 months out. And I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't this October? What fucking day is it? Oh my God, it's almost here. Well, I've waited so long for this.
I think a lot of that is because of the coronavirus shutdowns. It's thrown off everybody's concept of what month it is.
Plus, I mean, I never know what fucking day it is. I just don't.
You really don't need to most of the time.
This Saturday, guys, programming note. Friday, Jack, we're probably not doing one of these. Friday night. So going into Saturday morning, because Saturday, I am going down to see my daughter's new house. It's not just to go see. I would do it just to go see her house because that's my munchkin and I love her to death. But I would put myself through pain to see her be that happy in her new place. I remember how happy we were when we got here. Real quick, Midnight in Exile, thank you. What do you guys think we're going to do with a couple million Antifa BLM true believers if Trump wins? Cult deprogramming tops at 40% efficiency. I'm guessing efficiency, whichever. The same thing we've been doing them for the last 4 years. They will quiet the fuck down and nobody will pay attention to them. Worst case. They keep burning down Portland, which they've been doing for a while.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of these kids are going to get deprogrammed. They're going to be the same emotionally stunted toddlers that they've been. Changing.
I see that argument. We'll come back to that in just a minute. But yes, I'm going down there to see my daughter. But it's also Friday is my granddaughter's first birthday.
Oh,
So we're going down there Saturday to see their new house and to celebrate Peanut's birthday. So I'm very excited, but there will not be a show Friday evening. We'll do the Friday show, which is actually recorded on Thursday evening usually. But a Saturday show, which is usually on Friday nights, won't happen because I got to try to get some sleep. Anyway, so to the question. You don't see many old hippies. There's some, but you don't see many. You don't see many old emos. There's a few. They tend to grow out of this. You have your hardcore believers, and then you have the ones who get involved for a little bit, and then they go back to living a regular life because it's very easy, especially as a kid, to get yourself emotionally involved in this stuff and then to be like, oh, look over here, something shiny. You grow up, you get a job, you go on with your life, and eventually you're a yuppie. I don't think they're that big. I don't want to say they're not that big of a problem. Long term, as long as this doesn't spiral out of control, which I really don't think it will. I mean, the 60s were horrible, man. There were cities burning and shit. The Weather Underground was out there doing their nonsense. And those people still exist, but only, a handful of them who will willingly claim it. They'll go back to their real lives. We've seen that. Actually, if you watched the riots with us, you saw that happen quite often as the last 4 months has happened. You'll have these moments where it surges because it gets some press attention. And then a week and a half later, it's just the knowns, the people we see all the time. And there's only maybe 50 of them out there on a good night. It's not the hundreds that there are when the press is out there filming. When Ted Wheeler comes for his little moment in the darkness, it's not that. Most of the time they're like, I remember this one night where we're watching, and it's the one where they got chased into that one little T section.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like the fourth time they'd been chased off, and they're down there. And I just remember these two people going, yeah, I'm probably not coming out tomorrow. And I went, yeah, me neither. And then the next night, the crowd was fucking ridiculously small. It was one of the nights that the crowd was so small, I asked you, are they mobilized somewhere else? And they weren't. It was only the hardcore Antifa ones who came out.
Yeah. I think a lot of this really depends on how much positive attention they get from the people they respect, like the various press people, politicians, other activists, that sort of thing. The risk versus reward aspect and how entrenched they are in their beliefs. I think we're still going to have these people around. Crowds might dwindle a little. And if they're emboldened, if there's no consequence, if there's no big arrests and public trials, they're not going to quit then because they're not afraid. And if it keeps making the news and keeps getting attention, then I think we'll see a big bump in it after the election if Trump wins. But it depends on how the reaction is.
If we go back to the Ferguson riots, tons of BLM people everywhere for months. And then they just kind of went away.
Yeah, it fell out of the news cycle and got boring, and people went about their day. But yeah, we still got the hardcores that are out there, and I think those type of people will always be around.
Yeah, BLM didn't go away. Just people stopped caring about it. They went back to their normal life. And then the press pushes the George Floyd thing really hard, and suddenly it's back in the news.
Yeah.
In an election year.
Yeah, it depends on how much attention it gets and what they feel like they're getting out of it. I think we're going to see a large faction of these people not going away, but I think they're just quieting down their activity, which, speaking of which, thank you, Frank, for the donation. The revelry will not be televised. Now I know why they won't show the riots. Yeah, it really comes down to what they feel like they're getting out of it. If they're so entrenched that they are diehard communists, they're not likely to give up. But we've seen some of these people are way too old to be doing this shit.
Cryptic, thank you. Old Ted is down double digits to a Mao and Marx lover in Portland. That city is about to swing even more left. Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
And for the record, Antifa never stopped their shit in Portland. It's been going on since, if you go all the way back to the college riots over, oh my God, they had conservative speakers on campus. They've been there the whole time. But there's a difference from a handful of these shitbags and everybody out there being part of it.
Well, people want to be a part of something, and if they feel like they're getting something out of it, they'll go out and try and get the attention or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it really comes down to how much they feel like they're going to get away with.
Frank, thank you so much. He says revolution with an asterisk. Is that towards yours?
Oh yeah, the revolution will not be televised.
There you go.
Sorry, it came up as revelry.
Either way works. Yeah, so I don't think we have to actually worry that much. I'm not sure the press wants to, because they let everything die down last time. Maybe they'll try to keep it going, but there's no gain for them from it.
Well, I think it really depends on if there's a lot of variables here that can change all that, because if Antifa's feeling ignored and they go out and terrorize a suburb, shoot some people, burn some stuff down, they always get a ratings boost out of that, because then CNN's out there covering it and they think that gives support to their cause.
Huh?
So they might do a stunt just to get back in the news.
But the news, I mean, this is my point being, is that right now the reason it got so much news and the reason that it's been pushed so hard is because it is an election year. We can tie this to Trump. We can make this. And yes, I'm suggesting that the mainstream media, as I said last night, is absolutely the PR wing of the Democratic Party. Yeah. It's absolutely true. It's what they are. There have been plenty of times over the years where there was a killing that could have been the catalyst for the same thing that happened with George Floyd. Plenty of them, because it doesn't take that much to make it a catalyst. If you look at what happened with Brown, that was a bunch of nonsense. It was bullshit. But they were still able to use that to get to light the fire, so to speak. And that was just to prove, look, it's a racist country. We got to make sure the Democrats stay elected. That they lose that impetus after the election. You won't see it again for probably, I don't know, 4 years. Seems like a reasonable standard to go by.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling that number out of my ass, you guys. I don't know why I went with 4 years.
Yeah, it's just arbitrary. You know, it's a thing that happens sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not that worried. I think the best thing that could happen is the election to end, one way or another, whoever wins, and suddenly everything will quiet back down. That doesn't get rid of Antifa. You'll still have the hardcores. Doesn't get rid of BLM. They'll still have their hardcores, and they'll just be waiting. But how many? Think back 2 years ago. How many people did you see with hashtag BLM in their fucking bios on Twitter? No one had that shit anymore. You had as many of them as who had those little French flags over their fucking Facebook pictures for a while. We are a very cylindrical society. Cylindrical?
I don't think that's the right word.
Goes in a circle kind of thing.
Circular?
Yeah, maybe. I know there's a word like cylindrical that works there.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Cylindrical. Thank you. Look, I knew it wasn't the right word. Don't I get credit for that?
50%.
All right.
Yeah, I think there's just too many variables to. We could speculate, but it really depends on a lot of different things as to whether or not this sort of thing is going to get worse or better or what.
Yeah, I do think that they need to start tramping down on it harder when it happens.
Yeah,
because this was allowed to get way too violent, way too destructive, and These cities, even the ones who are like, oh, no, we're not doing this again, they're going to be paying for decades for what's happened.
That depends if Pelosi gets the bailout bill she wants.
Even then, Detroit still hasn't quite recovered from all of the riots that they've had going back to the 60s.
Yeah.
It destroys economies. It destroys communities.
Well, and businesses don't want to invest in a place that doesn't protect their stuff. You know, if you're out there burning and looting all the time and no one does anything about it, why would anyone want to put money into opening a store there? And that people have long memories for that sort of thing.
Yeah. And you want to talk about white flight. It's not just white flight. You have anybody who can get out. You want to talk about black people who aren't wealthy living in those communities is because they went too. They're like, fuck that. I'm taking my money where it's protected. I'm moving down to Atlanta where it's warm, you know?
Yeah.
I'm moving down where they want some law and order in their life. Oh, dude.
What?
Omegon's post that I just saw.
I don't follow Omega.
I'll read it here in a second. He posted this. It's a picture of his kitty cat, and it says, R.I.P. Crackers, you didn't deserve cancer. You were a good kitty.
Aw.
Omegon, I am sorry to hear about that. And that is a beautiful kitty.
Yeah,
may you rest in peace, sir. Check him out. Look how cute he was. Look at him. Aww. Little fluffy calico. Yeah. I love calicos, man. Dark Resurrect, thank you. Have y'all seen the Yuri Brezmenov interview? No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the guy that was talking, his former communist KGB guy.
Yeah.
That was talking about his, the plans the KGB would use to undermine the U.S. government. We've all seen clips from it on Sargon's shows, but the actual full-on interviews have been getting taken down off YouTube a lot lately. So check BitChute or Censored TV or some of the others. They do pop up occasionally on YouTube, but they don't stay up there very long.
So I just want to make sure I have this all right. Antifa, the group that was started as a communist advocacy group in pre-Nazi Germany and helped the Nazis gain power, ripped down a statue of Lincoln.
Yes.
All right.
Have you seen the video of the statue coming down?
No.
Check the side chat.
Are you trying to piss me off?
Well,
because they're going to be cheering like fucking jackals, aren't they?
No, his statue's already down in the video.
Oh. Yeah, I saw the pictures of the statue down. You know, because Lincoln bad. And see, this is one of those things, Jack, where we talk about it. This is how I know horrible shit's going on in Portland. And it's not just that we have pictures of his statue torn down, but where's the video? There should be 100 different videos from 100 different angles of that thing coming down.
Well, when they plan these actions now, they've got much better control on who's doing the filming. And intimidation's gone a long way. Antifa runs Portland.
Yeah, they do. And as Cryptic pointed out earlier, that's why the new mayor of Portland will be installed after the election, because Teddy Boy has lost the favor of Antifa.
Yeah.
Which, good job. So let's see. We're going to have an Antifa supporting mayor and prosecutor. And don't forget, guys, in Portland, the mayor is the chief of police.
Yeah, and also head of like the parks department or something weird like that. There's a lot of job titles that should not be all under one roof. That seems very, very corrupt to me.
A little bit.
That's some Chicago shit right there.
Which Hollywood dumbass thought it would be a good idea to cast an Israeli actress as Cleopatra?
Yeah, Gal Gadot is going to be Cleopatra in the new movie.
Let me finish reading this tweet. To cast an Israeli actress as Cleopatra, a very bland-looking one, instead of a stunning Arab actress like Nadine Najim. Shame on you, Gal Gadot. Your country steals Arab land, and you're stealing their movie roles. Shaking my head.
Wasn't Cleopatra of Greek descent?
I don't remember where she was from, but was she Arab?
No.
I thought she was like Egyptian.
Yeah. She ran Egypt, but I don't. The Romans and the Greeks had both been in charge of Egypt at various times, so she may not have necessarily been black or Arab.
Early life. Where was she born? Cleopatra was born. This doesn't tell me where. She was. Wow. The Ptolemaic Empire?
Ptolemaics? Yeah.
Thank you, Cryptic. She was of Greek descent.
Yeah, she was a descendant of the founder of the Ptolemy, a Macedonian Greek general and companion of Alexander the Great. She's pretty damn white then.
Samira Khan is the one who tweeted that out. So now I got, who is Samira Khan?
Some dumbass.
She's just, well, it's not listed. Let's see. She goes on to say, Cleopatra was part Greek and part Berber. That's what we know for sure. Scholars have been debating this topic for centuries now. Wait, we know for sure, but they've been debating it for centuries?
That's the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time.
Frank Hubbard, thank you. I believe she was Greek and Egyptian mix. I love when people go and make really dumbass statements and then just try to, instead of going, whoops, I screwed up there. That's all you had to do. My bad. I was wrong there. I was too all up in my SJW-ness.
Oh, they'll never admit to that.
Good God.
You can never be woken up. You just double down and be like, no, you're wrong. History's wrong.
We all are wrong sometimes. It's okay.
It happens.
A better thing to do is before you write that tweet, go see what she was actually made of.
That would require Googling or Wikipediaing. And that's like a whole minute. Fuck that.
Yeah, it can take so much time. What? Oh, Becca pointed out, and just like that, YouTube said the stream was done. Guess you can't talk about Snow White and her little men. This was an hour ago. I had to refresh to get back to the stream. Wow. Shit.
Huh.
Thanks, YouTube. Man,
it
would be nice if those fuckers would learn how to YouTube. I had to tell some poor bastard. He's got a gaming channel. He reached out to YouTube asking them why he got a copy claim on one of his videos. And they're like, we're not really sure, because that's all YouTube will ever tell you. And I had to tell him, like, look, dude, if you're playing a game, and guys, if you're going to game stream, listen to me. Turn off the game music. Turn off every bit of music you can. Because while the game company may have the rights to that, you don't. And a lot of them, and he actually posted his claim, and it was claimed by a music company.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, they claimed it for the music.
Yep.
YouTube didn't tell him that. That's an easy thing to explain. Like, yeah, it looks like the people who made the music claimed it. The only time I've gotten claimed on the game channel was the Red Dead Redemption one, where I turned off music, Jack, because one, I hate video game music. It sounds like garbage to me. And those of you who go out and buy video game soundtracks, I don't understand you as a person. But that said, there's one part in Red Dead where you cannot help but have music play. Dutch, the leader of the Vanderlyn gang, he plays a phonograph in his tent. And if you walk too close to it, it comes through. And I walked too close to it for 10 seconds. 10 goddamn seconds. And they sent a claim on my video.
That's bullshit.
And I wrote back, I'm like, it was incidental. Go fuck yourself. I was nicer about it than that. And they released the claim because I was just incidental. I wasn't trying to use their fucking music to get ahead for myself. But yeah, if there's any music in a video game, shut that shit off. But YouTube won't tell people this. YouTube will not help YouTubers.
No, they don't YouTube well. They're in it for the corporations.
There was somebody who asked them the other day about why they're not getting notifications from people they sub to. And like, did you make sure to click the bell? YouTube, if you're out there listening, people shouldn't have to jump through hoops to get notifications that people they want to watch have made something or are making something, like in the case of a stream here.
Yeah, the bell should just be for the notification bar, not for showing up in my sub box. Everybody I'm sub to, when they release a new video, should be in my sub box. And they're not. Way too frequently, they're not.
Even with the bell turned on to please send me everything.
Yeah.
The default should be send me everything, and then you should have to turn it down from there.
Yeah.
Just like the default for chat should be live chat, and you should have to turn it to top chat if you're a pussy and can't take a little bit of bad written language.
But they use naughty words, Monkey. Naughty words.
Do you know how many times I've realized that I'm in top chat because I see somebody in chat responding to somebody I can't see?
Yeah. Yeah. I never realized how bad it was until the one time I was like, hey, I had it on live chat and then it switched back to top chat. Remember me saying that during the stream one time? And nobody believed me. And then it started happening to more and more people.
Oh, it happens to me a lot. And
yeah, it happens way more now than it ever did before.
Faithless says, or at least remember my chat settings. Yeah, that'd be easy too. YouTube doesn't YouTube well, and it's getting worse because they're not interested in YouTube. They're not at all. And it's going to be interesting to see as people do move away from YouTube, because people have been. There's a lot of people who have been pulling out and going elsewhere.
Yeah.
If they try to turn back because they like, oh shit, all that free content we weren't having to pay to have produced is gone. Because they do seem a lot more active in talking to people on Twitter for some reason recently. Or if they're going to keep going towards, we want to be a corporate network.
I think they're going to go toward being corporate because I don't think they've learned anything.
I see that, but I mean, that's a fool's game because, well, there's too many networks already. Yeah.
Real quick. Thank you, Frank, for the donation. Greek, Egyptian, Jerusalem, and Arabian Peninsulas, all olive skin, Middle Eastern. What does it matter unless you believe Egypt was black? Well, I think we all know the answer to that one, Frank.
Well, considering she said Arab was her problem instead of Israeli, we know she wasn't worried about that shit. Real quick, Dragon Mage, YouTube is trying to be the new cable. They want to be.
And thank you again, Frank. The last one was way off topic now. And thank you, Cryptic. I started Halloween early this week, went around and bag snatched from a bunch of kids. It's not too far to grab this fiver from a paralyzed kid to give you, bud. Bonus, didn't knock this wheelchair over. Thank you, Cryptic.
I hope they put a wheelchair in a D&D game for that kid. I'm just saying.
Right?
It'd be nice. Guys, remember, if that wheelchair kid has $5, you have $5. Give it to Jack. That was a good shill.
I'm not going to argue with that one at all.
That's a great shill. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're wondering, how do I shill properly? You yell at your audience. And it's even better if you guys could see how I'm sitting right now, because I'm sitting all sexy. And my titties are out.
Ew.
What? I can't wear shirts, dude.
Yeah, but I don't need to know.
I'm always got my titties out.
That's just
all
so
right. They're nice titties, man.
No, Lady Monkey likes to twist them. So
I have perfectly symmetrical little round nipples. They're nice. What?
Okay.
I have hair on my chest, but it's not like ew. It's just like manly.
You don't have.
It's not like Robin Williams. It's just like manly. Does it bother you, Jack, or have you noticed? Maybe not bother is the right word, but like in movies and shit now, they're all bare chested.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Everybody shaves their chest.
Yeah, that's really common. It's the sort of the demasculinization of men.
Yeah,
because most men have some chest hair, but now they are all like completely shaved, almost to a manscaping twink level.
Yeah, don't shave your chest. I mean, okay, if you look like Steve Carell, maybe shave your back. But you don't have to shave your chest, man. It's okay. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have hair there. It's what makes you a man. Damn, bunch of bitches. Real men don't manscape. Okay, look. You need to trim your pubes because those things grow. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Bushy.
Wild. Unkempt. There's no real pattern to pubes. It's just like there's a mound of hair here. And it's different on everybody. Have you noticed that? I've noticed that from the Christian Science Monitor.
Danger said, we don't need to hear this. This ain't OnlyFans.
You'll be fine. I find my hairy chest represented in movies by Chewbacca, so I'm fine. No, you should trim up your bush, because if you want a woman to put her face there, I mean, she still needs to be able to breathe.
Nope, I pay extra for that.
Oh, yeah, the choking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But keep your pubes so they're not, disgusting. But your chest, I mean, by the way, guys, I don't know if you notice, some women like it. Most women that I know like a hairy chest. Yeah. You're just a Bigfoot monk. No, I'm not. I'm normal.
They don't want no werewolf sweater or anything, but
no.
A little bit of chest hair is not a big deal.
Yeah, it's if you I tried trimming my bush, but apparently that's assaulting a former president. Such bullshit. That's my bush. I used to love that show.
I didn't watch it. It looked dumb.
It was dumb. That was the point. It was a ridiculous take on both the president and sitcoms. And it was great. I love that he had a neighbor that just walked into the White House. It made it all the more humorous to me. Twitter came out the other day and they told us they're adjusting what we see. Did you see that?
I heard something about it, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I figured that's just more election meddling.
Yeah, they're going to adjust what you see, partially based on what you would watch and partially based on what they want to shove down your throat. They didn't say it that way, of course.
It's mostly the second one I mentioned.
Dr. Fauci's upset, says that Donald Trump's new ad is taking him out of context.
Well, fuck Fauci. I'm tired of that guy. He's been wrong on a lot of stuff.
Well, they used a clip of him. I forget the exact words, but to paraphrase, I don't know what anybody else could be doing that we're not doing already. And he's like, they took me out of context. I was talking about everybody at the White House. I'm like, well, yeah, you mean under the president's direction? I was talking about the task force that the president set up.
Yeah, I don't really see how that's out of context.
It's not out of context at all. He's just mad that he got pulled into a political ad. Here's an idea, Fauci. Stop putting yourself out there everywhere, and you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, quit hoarding yourself to the media and do your damn job.
Yeah, because he says something like, in my bajillion years working for the government, I've never been put in a political ad. Well, nobody heard about you before COVID, man.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who the fuck you were, you little midget motherfucker.
That guy seems to have some kind of idea how important he is, and it seems to be wrong.
No one nowhere says learn to throw. Yeah. When you're to the point you're going out there and throwing first pitches, badly, by the way.
Yeah.
You throw like a cripple girl, dude. You don't get a bitch that you're being used in a political ad where you said something about the administration that directly contradicts everything people have been saying about Trump. Fauci said at that time, and it's like 2 or 3 months ago that he said it, I don't know what else we could be doing. Where everybody else is like, Donald Trump did everything wrong. What? Well, one of those two things isn't right. Make up your mind. Fauci, were you guys doing everything right at the time, or were you lying? That's what I'd ask him. You'd say he's taking you out of context. Were you lying then? Were you forced to say that, Mr. Fauci?
You show us on the doll where Mr. Trump forced you to do this.
Show us on the doll where you were touched by the ad.
Is this where politics touched you?
I want to see this because I haven't yet, but apparently Bill Maher confronted Adam Schiff about everybody leaving California.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and this is a quote from Maher. I don't know what I'm getting for my super high taxes. Nothing, Bill. You're getting fucked. That's what's happening. I watched something quite by accident. I wasn't looking for it. I was just Jack, today I told you I felt this shit coming on, and I took some time for myself. I wasn't playing video games. I wasn't streaming. I wasn't doing anything else. And partially that's because I was on my satellite. They were using the internet for other stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I just sat back and I watched a couple of magic tricks. I forget the magician's name. It's really funny. And then I watched some of Penn and Teller's Fool Us because I love that. And then there was a recommendation for a documentary on Jeff Foxworthy. And I love Jeff Foxworthy. He's one of the few people that has stayed with his wife. And good for him. All these years, through all the Hollywood and all the fame, this man is still with the same wife that brought him to the party.
Wow, that's sad. That's an achievement.
Right? And it is interesting because I have his book that he wrote a long time ago. And he tells most of what he talks about in here, he told in the book anyway. But he talks about how when he was starting out, he worked at IBM. This is in the 80s where he was making $30,000 a year in his 20s. For those of you who don't know, that's a lot of fucking money for a single kid in your 20s.
In the 80s, yeah. Absolutely.
In the 80s, yeah. And his wife, because he'd already started doing a little bit of comedy, and he said, she's the only one. He goes, quit your job. Go do this full time. That's a keeper right there.
Yeah. Now they're rich.
Now they are ridiculously rich, man. Between he is like the best-selling comedy albums ever. He had the wildly successful Blue Collar Comedy Tour. He had his failure of a TV show. Let's call it what it was, but he still got paid for it.
Yeah.
He had Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? This guy has made money.
Oh yeah,
tons of money.
He's written books, had board games, you name it.
Yeah, he's successful and he stayed with his wife. By the way, his daughters, holy fuck, are they beautiful?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I wonder if I can find them. We're gonna objectify Jeff Foxworthy's daughters. Yeah, I was just watching this and just enjoying it and seeing somebody who deserves success. He's not a prick nobody has ever called this man a prick. When they did the Blue Collar tour, he brought friends of his in that he thought deserved more fame. That's like he's like, you guys, you will be popular if only people saw you. So he brought him in with him. This is a good motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this and he's talking about, don't worry guys, I'm bringing this back to where we were. He's talking about right after the TV show failed. He's hating his life. He just feels run down. He doesn't like LA where he's living at the time. So he's like, I'm moving back to Georgia. And his agents and everybody knew, they're like, you can't go to Georgia and be successful, which, by the way, is before Blue Collar. So he's like, fuck all y'all. I've made a lot of money. I'm going to go home and I'm going to live there and try to do my thing from there. And then he gets even more successful than he's ever been. And the lesson there is get the fuck out of LA. Why are you there, Bill Maher? Go live somewhere normal. If you want to talk about your high ass taxes, you're the dumbass who stayed there for the status of living in fucking Malibu or wherever the fuck you have your shitty house.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sherry. As usual, enjoying the show. Hope everyone enjoys a blessed Monday. Back at you, Sherry. And thank you for watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's been a lot of people who've been, leaving California. We saw Joe Rogan just did it.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro's either done it or doing it. Get the fuck out of California. Why are you staying there?
Right. There's a lot of stuff being filmed in Georgia now too.
Oh, Atlanta. The whole reason the abortion thing with Georgia blew up is because it has become like a mini Hollywood there.
Yeah. Walking Dead's filmed there. Family Feud. What are some of the other ones are filmed there too? Random like Dawson's Creek was filmed there, I think. There's a lot of the like hometown like Hallmark type movies are filmed out that way because they get big tax breaks.
Yeah. Tyler Perry just opened his own studio in Georgia.
Yeah, it's a smart move.
Yeah. I'm trying to find pictures of these chicks so we can see them, but they're all so small.
Yeah, with the ability to use the internet, I don't know why anybody stays in Hollywood other than for the status of it.
That's the only reason to do so.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's a dumb reason to go blow a lot of money.
Yep. Well, let's see if this has a decent picture. Because all the other pictures I'm finding are too small for you to really get to see. All right, just look up the Foxworthy girls. They're really cute. And good job, Jeff, on pulling a wife that can make you beautiful daughters that now that they're old enough, we can, objectify. Just saying.
Right? Thank you, Evolved Potato. I've been thinking about moving to California because at least there's something will fuck me.
There's one reason.
Yeah. And thank you, Frank, for the donation. I want people like Marta stay in Cali. They ruin where they go by voting the dangerous way they did in Cali and New York. Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, eventually they do start to figure it out.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying there. And there's been that Texas is having that problem right now. Austin is just overrun with liberals, and they're starting to get big enough that they're making a dent. That said, my point to him is about his whining. You have two choices. Well, three, actually. Number one is just take it, which he doesn't seem like he's enjoying. So if you're not enjoying it, you have two choices. Get things changed, stop voting the way you're doing, which he's not going to do.
No.
Or move the fuck out. You don't have to be there. You are Bill fucking Maher. Liberals from all around will fly out to do your fucking show.
Yeah.
Do it in New York, New Jersey. If you want to stay near a liberal mecca, do that. You want to stay warm? Head down to New Mexico. Go over to Vegas. Fuck, man. You could set up a whole shop there. It's not even that far from LA. But no, just going to bitch at Adam Schiff about it. Adam Schiff, by the way, has no control over taxes in California. I mean, he might help set federal taxes, but the taxation in California and New York, it's not just federal taxes. You live in a big city, you pay a city tax. You pay high state taxes in certain states. There's ways to get around that. Move, for fuck's sake. Get the fuck out. And anytime something comes up to, should we raise your taxes? No. There you go. It's that easy. Bill, if you're out there, homie, fucking move. Well, Jesus Christ.
He wants everybody else to pay except him.
Yeah, I guess. See, I don't know that he's even that far gone because I don't think he's full-on socialist. He's, at least as far as I can see so far, he's just old school liberal / libertarian. He walks a weird line there. He's fine with the safety net kind of thing, but he does believe in some restraint. He just doesn't like Republicans, which is weird. And I guess you can not like Republicans if you don't want to, but
well, he doesn't like Republicans because he thinks they're all Jesus freaks.
Yeah, I guess.
He really hates Christianity.
He does, but in his defense, he is one of the few who will go after Islam as well.
Yeah, I just don't see him doing that a whole lot.
He doesn't, and it's really fallen off the show because it's not in the news very often. But he did talk about it a lot more when it was a thing, you know, back when after 9/11 and after well, every other fucking time something's gotten blown up.
Yeah.
Because there's that great one. I love people who think Ben Affleck was in the right when Sam and Bill were up there like, the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the whole interaction with Affleck was priceless.
I feel like this is Islamophobic. My favorite part of that is he looks like such a whipped little dog when he's talking.
Yeah.
He looks like somebody just beat the fuck out of him and made him say it. Where Sam Hyde, right? Is that his name?
Maybe.
The guy that was with Mar on the show that night, the only one that was agreeing with Mar. What the Harris? Thank you, Harris.
Yeah,
Harris.
I was thinking we blame Sam Hyde for everything.
Yeah. That's why. There's a fuck up, Frank. Yeah, Sam Harris and Bill Maher. They're sitting. Just watch the fucking body language between the three men. Affleck looking down a lot, and like, I just feel like you guys are being a little Islamophobic here. Like,
it's disgusting. Shut up, overpaid hack.
Ben Affleck stood up to these guys. He kind of cowered from them, really. It was such a disgusting display. I would be offended at myself if I did that. If you're going to stand up for yourself, at least shoulders back, chest out, head up. Don't be a bitch.
Well, it's Affleck.
Well, you also, I mean, that's how you project, you know, strength. Come at me, bruh. Say it with your chest.
You can't do that without a script.
Sam Harris is a god. Harris has some good ideas. Sometimes he's a moron. He's not Hitchens, which he desperately wants to be.
Yeah.
Butler's Outlaw, thank you. I can agree the city council in Austin, Texas sucks. Well, Austin is one of those places that, I mean, we saw a flight from California and New York over the last couple of decades, really. Their populations have dropped to the point where they actually lost seats, didn't they, in the House? So. And a lot of that flight went to Texas because, well, Texas was doing so well. It's amazing what happens when you don't tax the ever-loving fuck out of your citizens. No, that's not what it is, monkey. That's not what it is, monkey. I actually saw an article when the flight was happening and people were like, wow, they're all going to Texas. This one article is like, well, Texas is doing fine now, but soon they're going to have the same problems that California has. Like, you mean liberals? It's not what they meant. It's not what they meant.
Oh, it's what they meant.
What was it they bitched about? Crime and overpopulation and homelessness. I'm like, well, California doesn't have to have any of those things. Crime, you can't really help. Overpopulation, there's plenty of land. Spread out, motherfuckers. It is so expensive to live in the city of San Francisco. Have you thought about not doing that?
But the status.
All of these people are homeless because it's too expensive to live here. Like, don't y'all got suburbs? I've seen them. Mighty Balzac, thank you. I love Sam Harris, but he does have severe TDS. He gets a little woke sometimes. Sammy gets a little woke sometimes because, like I said, he wants to be Hitchens, and he does a decent job if you're talking religion. But after that, it's like,
I can't listen to him. He sounds so smug, and he's boring. He talks like he's trying to put you to sleep.
Well, Hitchens came off as smug, but he did it in a way that was acceptable somehow. It was like, okay, maybe it was the British accent.
Maybe, yeah.
But you just expect it.
Yeah, they always sound a little more pretentious, but oh man, Harris just puts me to sleep. I don't know what he says past like the third sentence because I've blacked out and I'm like in dreamland thinking I'm a Viking or something. I tried listening to his podcast. And it's just him. It's like him and Joe Rogan talking together. I might end up in a coma.
Paul says his podcast is very good for lullaby, though.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's nappy time, and I don't.
Well, people say we put him to sleep. We got to be careful with that.
Well, that's we give awesome dreams. We don't give boring dreams.
Hitchens got away with it because he was right and funny. You know, Midnight, maybe that's what it is. Because Hitchens was a funny guy. He had a very good way about it, where Sam is... I expect at any moment Sam to tell me what his IQ is.
Yeah, because he comes off as very smug.
Yeah.
I think so anyway. Other people don't seem to have the problems I do with him, but I think he's dry and arrogant.
I don't hate the man. I just think he does come across as arrogant as fuck and pretentious as hell. Like I said, any moment, if that motherfucker said, I have 140 IQ, I'd be like, yeah, I expected that. Yeah. Nut says, your voice is soothing, not boring. Thank you, sweetheart. I do what I can. I was born this way, literally. The only thing I've done to help my voice is smoke a lot.
Oh, okay.
Probably not the not what YouTube wants me to say, right?
Probably not.
Sam has a wife and like 3 daughters. He's blue-pilled as fuck. Look, if on the religious stuff, I've never found Sam to be in any way that I could point to and go, yeah, that's horribly wrong. But he does come across as woke a lot. And he needs to step off that. Because if you go back and listen, remember with the intellectual dark web, what was it? Rogan and Harris. Yamaka Boy, Shapiro, that's his name. And then Eric Weinstein. Weinstein is one of the driest motherfuckers you will ever listen to. And he is a full-on lefty. But even as lefty as he is, he doesn't come off as woke as Sam does sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, what? Anyway. Jack, we're over the 2-hour mark. I need a game in my life. I need to get a game stream up. I've been having a lot of fun with Baldurs Gate 3, and I'm getting to a point in the playthrough. There's very little that I know going forward. The last 2 nights, I've had to pretend I don't know what's happening to try to make it interesting for the audience. Like, oh my God, what's coming now? Coming up, it'll be honest. There's only... As I pass through the Goblin Village, which is where I'm at now, I know all of the fights that are there. And then there's a swampy area where I've been through, and I know some of the secrets that are there. Although mostly I just ran through it because I didn't realize I was there. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was trying to get home. So I know a little bit that happens there. And that's it. The rest of it's a mystery to me. So you guys will be experiencing it with me after we kill a bunch of goblins in the Goblin Village. So come hang out for that. That's over on my game channel, which is linked below, Ranting Monkey Games. Do not forget, down below, there's tons of things. I'm going to do this real quick, Jack. Down below, you can find our Twitter links to our Patreon, links to our Teespring store, where you can find shirts and masks and coffee cups and all kinds of other little trinkets and baubles you might want, including stickers, by the way. There's also links to all of our channels. Make sure you follow us everywhere for your own benefit. Dr. Fauci approved. Jack, is there anything you'd like to shill tonight?
I'll drop a link to my latest video. Otherwise, thank you so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. We really do appreciate it.
St. Fuki says, I got to catch up on those game streams, but I also don't want to spoil the game. I plan on buying it one day. Then by all means, don't watch. Because it's full of spoilers, of course, because I'm playing through it. Take a gander, if you ever get stuck in the game, like, what did Monkey do? Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are very, very generous, and we appreciate it more than we could ever actually express.
Yep.
Jack, thank you for joining me tonight.
Oh, always a good time.
Everyone, have a great Monday. We will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
I don't have a song.